In this video, we're going to talk about some of the fundamentals of getting your green screen set up and your lighting set up to have better success in the software. So first, let's talk about the green screen. I've got my Westcott green screen on a stand here. I also like to tie the edges out to kind of stretch it out a little bit, just to make sure it's nice and even. I don't want any kind of wrinkles because that would cause a problem in the software. So step number one is make sure your green screen is nice and smooth. Also, our lighting setup. One of the keys to success for the software is making sure you don't cast any shadows on the background. So I have my two lights here set up on an angle. Now I'm using Westcott TD6 spider lights, which are constant lights, which means I can see right away. So I can look at the background and make sure any shadow is way off on the outside edges, not directly behind me. One of the things you have to think about is in the software, it's looking for a consistent green right across the background. So if you have shadows, that's going to be a darker green and it might not be extracted quite as well. So by making sure your lights are on an angle, you're making sure your subject is lit properly, but you're not casting any shadow on the background.
So here's a quick summary. Make sure your green screen itself is very smooth, especially in the key areas around the person. The outside edges are not so important. Secondly, make sure your lights are pointing mostly at your subject, not casting a shadow on the background. That's the most important thing, is not getting a big shadow. Oh, and one other thing, make sure your subject is far away from the background, as far away as possible actually, because then again, less chance of shadow and less chance of a bounce back, any kind of reflection off the background. Do those three things and you'll have a better chance of success.